Welcome everybody to the CARES 3.0 webinar. You were invited because we have identified you and your program as being eligible for the CARES 3.0 initiative. Today, we'll go to the next slide and then I'll introduce myself shortly. So today we're going to go over some of the basics of the program, including criteria, stipend amounts, and next steps. Tonight's webinar is designed to share an overview of this new version of CARES and to provide guidance so eligible educators can get ready to successfully apply. And now we will introduce ourselves. I am Denise Corvino. I'm a Deputy Director, specifically for the Early Learning Division of the new Department of Early Childhood. For those of you who have joined us at other webinars and meetings, you'll see that we are official. So we have moved from the Office of Early Care and Education plus First 5 San Francisco into one pretty phenomenal department. So moment to celebrate. With me tonight and helping us present are Lisette Montejano and Marisa Mota. They are our CARES 3.0 team. We also have a couple of staff in the audience who will be preparing to have this session in English, in Spanish, and Chinese. So thank you to all our staff.
Definitely, thank you. And just note, since this is a webinar format, the chat will be open for questions. So we'll be trying to answer questions throughout, and then we'll save some of the general questions to bring up at the end. We do want to respect folks' time and the webinar format because we will be referencing it a lot throughout the round. So we'll save a lot of those general questions for those out loud questions for the end.
Right. So we're going to start with an overview, and I just wanted to preface this with Baby Prop C funding, which I'm hoping you have all heard of. We now have the ability to do more for the workforce with the theory that when early educators are fairly compensated and have the resources they need, the children will thrive. So the Department of Early Childhood, also the DEC, is working on a multi-phased workforce compensation and development program. And this fiscal year, we're looking at 4 phases. And so as you can see, we've got workforce compensation and some enhancements on phase 1 and 2. Phase 3 is workplace conditions, and that will be coming out probably early 2023, which will add some extra benefits. The 4th one is workforce educational pathways. So one of the things you'll see as we move forward and explain CARES 3.0 is that the amount of stipend that you'll receive is based on a couple of things, and we'll get into details with that. But one of the details is the educator's qualifications, their education. And so we know that not everybody has had the same opportunity. So part of our phase 4 is helping the workforce gain and attain higher education so that they can move up that tier and get more funding. Next. So the compensation funding through Baby Prop C is very different from the original CARES 2.0. Although the idea of a stipend will sound familiar, it is quite different in that in the method of delivery for the whole compensation initiative, and again, as we mentioned, the criteria and the stipend amounts. So CARES 3.0 is based on the enrollment of children with subsidies in your program and your educational level. You'll see in a few slides that the amount of funding an educator will receive is based on those 2 things. The Early Educator Salary Support Grant is something that will go to center-based programs that are in the green tier. So they're the ones serving the most children who are living in poverty and who are receiving subsidies. And that's federal, state, and local subsidies. And so again, this area will be, the amount of funding will be based again on enrollment and teacher qualification, but there's 2 methods of delivery. And part of that is to make sure that we are able to manage all of this, but also particularly our family child care providers gave us a lot of feedback that they wanted to keep the stipend program intact. And so as we're looking at and talking about the different stipend levels, we want to remind everybody, if you're here, if you were invited, you were identified as a program who would be receiving the stipends. The workforce would be receiving the stipend. If you're not sure about this, we can certainly help you talk to your director or your family childcare owner. Anybody who was eligible was given an opportunity to complete a request for applications, and then the tier was identified and the method of funding. And so tier criteria and eligibility really is, as we've been saying, based on the amount of children you're serving with children with subsidies and your level of education. So only city funded or early learning San Francisco programs or preschool for all programs are eligible for this funding. And so from the workforce level, from the educator level, you'd still need to be working with children directly for 20 hours a week at minimum. And that hasn't changed since CARES 2.0. So again, there are some similarities. So the way we've identified programs is percentages of enrolled children with subsidies. And so we're looking at federal funding, state funding, and 85% area median income or eligibility for families for local funding. So these are our families that are furthest from opportunity and living in poverty. And so the green tier is serving 50% or more. And so that will be our highest tier. The middle tier is 20 to 49%. And the blue and orange tier will get stipends. And the orange tier is 0 to 19% with subsidies. The top tier, you'll see those two different delivery methods. And that is, as I explained it, the centers will get a grant, family childcare will be getting the stipends. And I will hand it off, I believe, to Lisette for the next slide.
All right, now that you have that sort of broad overview of the difference between the grants and the stipends, if you're here, it's likely that you're CARES 3.0 eligible if you're invited. So I bet your next question, if you're not an administrator or an FCC owner, your next question is probably, what tier is my program? And if that hasn't been shared with you, we do have ways that you can find this out for yourself. So we do have a link on our CARES 3.0, our new CARES 3.0 webpage with the list to most of the CARES 3.0 eligible programs. I do say most because we did find out there's about 6 FCCs and 1 center who's currently not on that list because they recently joined ELS. So we'll be updating that by tomorrow. But I'd say about 98% of CARES 3.0 eligible programs are on that list. Some programs like SFUSD or the STEP program are in the green tier along with those FCCs who've been deemed green tier. So if you're an SFUSD, paraeducator or sub are eligible for CARES 3.0, know that you're going to be within that green tier as well as STEP programs. And as Denise explained, some ELS center-based programs are not on that list. So I don't want you to go there as someone who works with one of the larger agencies that are green tier grant programs and think you're not getting anything. You're simply being funded differently and getting compensation funds through your employer. So we have gotten some questions about center-based programs. So my advice is that if you're a center-based program and you don't know what tier you're in, reach out to your supervisor or administrator or director, and they'll be able to give you some more information. And I believe Melissa will be able to drop the link in the chat for the list of the programs. Again, we do plan on sending this PowerPoint with active links, the recording and all of the resources we share later this week. Okay, so now that you're able to know where to go for your tier, you can start thinking about how much you'll be eligible for, right? Before I jump into this list of all of the criteria that factors into your stipend amount, I do want to just reiterate the importance of having all of this information updated on your profile and verified by the registry. We've been saying that in our messaging a lot, and I'll probably say verified on your registry profile 100 times in the next few slides. So I just want to really convey the importance of having all of this information reflected in your profile and all of these documents verified by the registry. And this is important because if you self-report a degree, for example, so you have a degree in ECE, you have a BA, you self-reported that on your profile, but you never uploaded transcripts, unfortunately, you will not be awarded the amount for your degree because it hasn't been verified. So make sure that the transcripts and permits and all the information on your registry profile is up to date. And we'll go into a little bit of how you can look through the registry and your profile to make sure that's the case. For this list, it may be helpful to sit and create answers for yourself. So for example, are you part-time? Are you full-time status? For full-time, it's 30+ hours is considered full-time for CARES. For your title position, is that position reflected in your profile? How many units you have verified? Are those transcripts uploaded to the registry and verified? For degree verification, the registry requires transcripts that verify the degree, not the diploma. And then, do you have a permit? Is the permit current and is it verified on the registry profile? And do you see the pattern? Is it verified? 100 more times. Okay, next slide. We'll go into the scales for the stipend amount. So you'll see, and this is a lot of information and it might be a little blurry, but it on the webpage, it's a lot more clear. So we'll go through the information on the scales and I'll give some examples that we can walk through. So you'll note that there's two tables. One is for leads, lead teachers, FCC owners, administrators. And the second scale is for assistants, aides, paraeducators, and substitutes. And you'll see it's broken up by tier, as well as whether you're part-time or full-time. And on the left, there's a list of the required information that needs to be verified on the registry in order to get that amount. Okay, so your role will be determined by what's reflected in your profile. So it's important, if recently you went from becoming an aide to a lead, make sure that role difference is on and updated on your registry profile. Otherwise, you'll be put in the second scale. So let's walk through some examples. I know it's a little bit blurry, so I'll try to go slower. So for example, there's a lead teacher who works full-time at a family child care in the green tier. So we'll start looking as a lead teacher, the top scale on the right, full-time, and see what their ECE units and the degree and permit information through. So they have a degree in a non-ECE related field. So maybe it's a degree in accounting, but they have 12 core units. All right, so that would put them on the far right as full-time green tier. Within the second row, they have their 12 units at $15,080 for the year. So something else to note is these amounts reflect 2 stipend rounds. So they would be getting $7,540 for the first round. Okay, and that means that, all of that information has been verified on the registry. All right, for the second example, we have a teacher who works part-time in an orange tier program with a BA and ECE in 24 units. They would be getting, for the first round, they would be getting $2,250 for that round. For the third example, we have a substitute teacher who works full-time in a blue tier program with an assistant teacher permit. They'd be getting $5,000 per round. So there'd be $10,000 for the full year. I hope that was clear. Okay, so now that we move. So now we see that the varying amounts really rely on what's on the registry. And we understand that this may be a new process. Maybe you haven't really updated your profile in a long time. So it's a really good time to get a refresher and to log into the registry to review all of the information that you have in your profile, as well as all of the documents. Okay, I'll go into the next slide. Sorry for that. All right, this slide serves as a quick guide for the steps you should be following to get transcripts and permit information uploaded and verified on the registry. So uploading transcripts and your California EC permit follows a similar process. So here we have the transcript upload guidance, but it would be the same for your permit. And I believe Marisa is going to be sharing a link to this very helpful, the second square, this very helpful video and step-by-step guide on the registry for how to upload documents. So you'll start with ordering your transcript. So any coursework or ECE units that you've obtained, it's important to have all of those transcripts reflected in your documents and verified on the registry. We do know that City College's unofficial transcripts, we do accept unofficial transcripts. However, we've heard that City College unofficial transcripts do not have the institution name. So you'll need to actually order official transcripts, and they let us know that the first few times that you request unofficial transcripts is actually free. So then once you access your transcripts, review that upload document guide, and then be able to upload. And then the third part is very important. This is where you're viewing the status of your verification. And so if there are any issues with uploading and verifying information on the registry will actually email you and let you know, hey, we couldn't verify this information because this was missing. So it's important to review the documents that you've uploaded, check for verification, and also check your email to make sure that everything was okay and that the registry didn't have any issues with verifying information. Okay. I believe that link is in the chat. Yes, thank you, Marisa. All right, now that you've gone through uploading your documents and hearing me say verify 100 times, we'll go into just reviewing your profile, your registry profile. So this can be done by logging in and going to view update personal profile. There are 3 sections that can be edited. So one is your personal information. The second is your current employment information. And the last one is other information, and that's including the self-reported education and your demographic information. And all of that is can be edited. So if, for example, you see that your current employment information needs an update to the title or position, you can go and edit and add a new employment record that reflects your current role with that program. Say, for example, you see that you self-reported an AA, maybe when you signed up for the registry, and it's reflected there, and you think to yourself, well, I definitely have a master's degree now. You can go in and update that information as well, and then upload those transcripts. I do want to point out that we need this information to be updated and verified as soon as possible. So what we've said is that you need to either have it verified by October 1st, which is the first day of the application period, or in the process of being verified, so that we can have the information needed to process your final stipend amount. All right, so that was a lot of information. We are here to help. There are several ways of obtaining information, guides, and support to successfully apply for CARES 3.0. This is a list of various ways that you can reach out for support. We'll also, again, be sharing these slides in this recording later this week. I do want to note that for the registry staff, you can log in and do virtual chatting with someone at the registry, as well as reach out to them via phone. The help desk and the CARES team numbers function as hotlines. So you'll need to leave a message to be contacted by a staff member. It's not a direct line, so nobody's answering the phone directly. We're reviewing the voicemails all day and trying to get back to folks as quickly as possible. So it'd be helpful to let us know what's the best time to call you back when you do leave a message. We also have some financial advising and resources on our webpage, but we'll also put the links in the chat for that. It's question time. Hopefully, I was able to review and cover many of your questions. We do plan on expanding the current frequently asked questions page with your help, and we'll be able to translate it. It's pretty long, and I had mentioned that it will get more long, and we'll need some time to translate it. So we'll definitely use these opportunities in the webinars to capture frequently asked questions and expand on that list. I do want to respect the time of everyone on this Zoom. So if you don't have any questions and you feel ready and prepared, you're more than welcome to exit the Zoom. But I do want to pull some specific eligibility, some general questions from the chat if we need to. I will say that specific eligibility questions, like how much do you think I'll get? This is my information. Those kinds of questions you can definitely direct to us. But I think for just this general question time, we can share out some questions that maybe somebody else has.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat about how many hours are needed for full-time and how many hours for part-time.
Oh, great question. So full-time is 30 plus hours a week. You need to be at least 20 hours to be eligible, but 30 plus hours is considered full-time.
Thank you. And we have had some activity in our Q&A section, so we've been answering them if people want to go look, but I'll go over a few of them in case some of you have not been tracking that. So, one person, Yvonne, asked if we need to apply each time there's a round for CARES, and the answer is yes, we do go through the application each time.
That's a good question.
Yeah, and then to know if you're qualified for the fund, I did pop there's the link in the Q&A section and in the chat section that will take you to our CARES 3.0 website, which has the qualifications in a nutshell. To be considered eligible for CARES 3.0 this fall, you must be employed by an early learning scholarship or early learning San Francisco program or preschool for all program, so a city-funded program that has been deemed eligible by the Department of Early Childhood, and work directly with children for at least 20 hours. And again, there's a list of programs with tier levels on that website. And so, Lisa, here's one I missed. Someone tried uploading their teaching permit on the CARE registry, but couldn't do it. What's the best place to get help, technological help for the registry?
That would be the registry staff.
Great. And maybe we could put that link in the chat. And then if you're requesting an official transcript from City College, who should they have it sent to?
They can have it sent, they can request a PDF to be sent to themselves and then upload that PDF to the registry.
Great.
And I highly encourage folks with those specific transcripts to have it sent to themselves, just so that they also have a copy of it, and they can sort of control that it's been and determine and verify that it's been uploaded, and then they can just keep out an eye for verification status.
And I wanted to highlight one question was about deadlines for submitting transcripts, and our recommendation is to do it as soon as possible to make sure that there's enough time to get them in and make sure they're verified. Lisa, I know the registry has an amount of time that they think it will take, but I know we're worried that with the influx of transcripts, it might take longer.
Right now, the registry has gotten notice that San Francisco is in this process. So they are prioritizing, let's say, our transcripts. It's probably gonna take still a couple weeks, so the sooner the better. If we foresee any delays, in that processing on the registry's end, we will prepare accordingly, but for now, we're just letting folks know, might take a couple weeks, please do it as soon as possible.
Right. And somebody has their hand up, so Marissa's going
Great.
to let them speak.
Yeah, I see Dina's hand up, so I'm gonna click this button that says allowed to talk. And Dina, you have your question. Let's see. You are live, Dina. Maybe.
It looks like they're currently muted, so if you unmute yourself.
I feel like we're on a radio station. Okay, we'll go to.
Dina, well, Dina did have one question in the Q&A that I hadn't gotten to yet, and that is if they have after school staff, are they eligible?
So for the purposes of this stipend, I'm assuming that, I don't know if that's like out of school time, if that's what they're considering. So out of school time, and for the district, out of school time and TK hours are not eligible for the program.
And an important question, somebody asked if pre-ELS programs are eligible. And so for those of you who are already in the system, we are expanding our system and inviting programs to come and go through the application and verification process. Those who are in pre-ELS are not currently eligible for a stipend. You need to go through the process and complete it and get your funding or participation agreement before you or your staff are eligible for any other funding.
We have two people raising their hands, so I'll try to call on Lily. Let's see. Lily, do you still have your question?
Yes, I'm a substitute. I work go to all the child developments. I work OST and pre-K, but it seems like the centers are applying. I'm a little confused this year. I don't have a site supervisor to talk to. I go and I deal with all the site supervisors. I deal with all the children and all the ages. So you've been applying, but it seems like this year it's for the centers to do it as a whole. That's what I'm getting. Or are we still applying individually?
So it depends on whether your center is grant eligible or stipend eligible. Would you be okay with sharing what center you're working with?
I work at all the centers for the San Francisco Unified School District Child Development. I have like
so you're with SFUSD. Great.
I have
SFUSD educators, the eligibility is a little different this year. You're still applying as an individual. However, the hours that make you eligible are only your pre-K hours. We don't count OST hours. So it needs to be at least 20 hours of pre-K.
Okay, what if you worked OST all summer and they set all the preschoolers up who just graduated, but they weren't quite 5 yet?
How about maybe it might be easier, Lily, if we scheduled a call so we can go through your specific eligibility.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, thanks.
Okay, we have Megan. So let's see, Megan. And
all right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We just have a handful of teachers who currently have their permits, but they don't hold a copy of their transcripts. So what do you recommend? Should I upload their permit and then just upload their transcripts when I get them, or what's the best thing to do in that situation with the clock ticking, getting close to October?
Sure. Upload the permits.
Okay.
Upload what you have, and then definitely just work on getting those transcripts. Like I said, if they're unofficial, we can still accept them. I know if they're City College, then Might take a little bit longer for those officials, so I definitely understand that. I would just confirm that the permit level that they hold puts them at the same amount that they would get for their transcripts. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense.
Okay, great.
Okay, and then the other question I have with that is, we have a couple teachers who have degrees, but then their ECE classes are from different schools. So does it matter how many different transcripts we upload?
No, for us,
Okay.
what we see on our end is how many ECE units have been verified. It doesn't tell us from where or when, unless we pull reports specifically, but when we're verifying for CARES 3.0, we're just looking at the amount that have been verified.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. Denise, Lissette, do you want to take some questions in the Q&A, or do you want me to keep pulling from hands raised?
I don't have access to the Q&A.
Okay.
Um,
Let's
Okay.
give the Q&A people some chances. Let's see. One Penny mentions, I'm a special ed para and have 28.37 per and work 28.37 per hour.
I think
Do I
she's
still
saying
qualify?
I think she's saying she earns 28.37 per hour.
Ah,
I'm guessing that's what, yeah.
do I still qualify to apply for the stipend?
Oh, okay, so it sounds like we're getting into very unique eligibility questions. And for those, we're happy to answer those more directly. So I'll just have them either call or email the CARES team so we can support with those direct eligibility questions.
Got it. And then let's see. One from Nancy says, what happens if my units change? For example, I have 6 units in the course CD, and by April, I finish the next 6 core units. Will the stipend amount change?
Yes, as long as those transcripts are verified as soon as possible when you earn those units. So as soon as those grades post and you can order a transcript, do so that your stipend amount can get higher for the next round.
Okay, then we have another one from Helen. Hi, my question is about transcripts. I have taken classes and I have some credits at CCSF, but I don't have an AA. Should I still request transcripts?
Yes, it'll still be important to have those units reflected in your profile. That's a great question. And then we do understand that you can get a permit. So your permit level can still be high, but you don't have a degree. So like I said, we want you to make sure that you have your permit information and your transcripts all verified. Because I know in some cases, while you don't have a degree, you do have a little bit of a higher permit, and that can support you in getting a higher amount.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Just
Okay.
a quick one, Maddie. So we've gotten a couple of questions about foreign transcripts. And if you have foreign transcripts, you will need to get your transcript evaluated. I've put in the chat the link for the acceptable evaluation agencies. So the California Department of Commission on Teacher Credentialing has some specific criteria of who can evaluate those transcripts.
Thank you. Okay, let's pull some hands that are raised. I have Yi. Yi, do you still have your question? Yeah. I see that you're unmuted, but we can't hear you if you're talking. Okay. Sorry, Yi. If you have a question, maybe put it in the Q&A and then hopefully we can get it answered. See, we will go to Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, it's a real fast question. I have all my permits, but I need to renew them and I haven't had the opportunity to get to City College. Can you help me through the registry? Because I have all the paperwork and everything that I need to get done. I just need to go to City College, or should I just go through the registry? And
So
that's it.
Thanks, Mary. So for the permit process to get that renewed, you'll need to go to City College. I'm hoping you're familiar with that process already, but we can definitely share resources if that's a new process, but I'm sure you've done that process already. Our understanding is that once you apply to renew, you get sort of a confirmation that you applied for, you know, I don't know if it's a program director permit. And then you can upload that to the registry and just send us an email and let us know. I'm in the process of uploading or renewing my permit. Like, please verify information on the registry.
Okay, so I have a lifetime and then I have a supervisory. So thank you.
Got it. Great, Mary.
Yeah, I see Yvonne.
Yeah,
You just went
Hello?
on. Yes.
oh, I'm a bit confused. Earlier you said that if you go to a different colleges and then you have to upload all the transcript from all the school that you attend. Is that what I heard, or I didn't hear that clearly, that part?
That's correct. Because we need to have all of the ECE units and college coursework verified on the registry so we can determine your stipend amount.
So
So-
Lisette, sorry, I just wanted to verify, because
Yeah.
I make sure I put the
Yeah.
right answer in the Q&A.
Yeah.
If somebody has a bachelor's from San Francisco State, which lists the ECE units that they got from City College, is the one transcript sufficient?
Oh, yeah, if it's
Oh.
everything is in one transcript, yes,
Just making sure.
absolutely. Sorry, that
Just
could be,
making
my
sure I
answer was
answered
probably a little confusing. Yeah, so as long as the degree
So-
reflects all of the coursework that you took to get to that degree, then you're good.
So I guess I have to upload because would it be the teacher permit will clarify that, because in order to earn the teacher permit, I have to have 12 course of the ECE. But if I submit my transcript with the school that I went in the past, it might take longer for you guys to receive everything before October 1st when I apply for
Right.
the.
So let's start with your permit, because that permit, like you said, is gonna approve the amount that you feel like you deserve, but still work on those transcripts.
Okay,
I think
okay.
moving forward, we want to encourage people to have everything that they need on the registry. But for the purposes of CARES 3.0 and our deadline, make sure you work on that, getting that permit in, and then eventually getting all those transcripts into the registry.
Let me try to upload my permit today because I couldn't do it last time. I'll try today. If I cannot, I'll email your team.
We
And
do
I-
have that step-by-step guide too, Yvonne, if that's something that might help you.
Thank you so
Of course.
much.
Okay, let's see, we can get some in the Q&A. Can TK get a stipend?
Currently, TK is not eligible, and well, they actually weren't eligible for CARES 2.0, but they are not eligible for CARES 3.0. Or
Okay.
TK hours, I should say. I know some folks are in pre-K hours and TK hours, so it's the pre-K hours that are eligible at SFUSD.
And then we answered this question, but we might need to reiterate this. How long will it take to verify the documents?
Currently, it's taking about 2 weeks. I believe the registry is prioritizing San Francisco right now because they know that we're requesting these documents. But it should take about 2 weeks, hopefully sooner, but definitely be checking your documents that you've uploaded on the registry and checking your email to make sure that there weren't any issues with the documents that were uploaded.
And then we have somebody, I don't have a permit now. If I apply now, I don't think I will be able to get a permit on time. What should I do?
So if you apply, you should be able to get a confirmation on what you applied for, and that confirmation can be uploaded to the registry. Please make sure that you reach out to the CARES team to let them know that you're in the process of obtaining a permit.
Let's see. Okay, if I have an unofficial transcript from a previous date, can I submit that, or do I need to request a new one?
Just, you can, and officials, as long as there is the institution name, your name is on there. I believe It needs to have all of the course descriptions, the grades, the amount of units. So all the general transcript information needs to be there, but especially the institution name that has to be on the unofficial. Unfortunately, as we learned, City College doesn't have City College on the unofficial transcripts, and that's why they're not being accepted by the registry. But our understanding is the institution name is usually on unofficial transcripts. So if that includes your previous college, then absolutely upload the unofficial.
So we will pop back into the attendees raising their hand. We have Sherry. Do you still have your question? Oh, man. Okay, actually, we can't let Sherry talk. Not because we don't want to, but because Sherry, I think you need to upload or you need to upgrade the Zoom version that you have, fortunately.
Maybe you can put it in the chat or the Q&A. Sorry, Sherry.
Okay, let's go with Rosie. Rosie, do you still have your question?
Rosie said, yeah.
Hi, Rosie, you're unmuted.
Hi, I'd like to ask the question is I have a master degree in mathematics, and I evaluate in the US, and they give me as a same as a US master degree in mathematics in US, and then I also have a site supervisor permit. So, do I need to get the units, or can I apply for the K3?
With the site supervisor permit, Rosie, you've already taken the coursework needed to get to that permit level, correct?
Yeah.
ECE unit. So then you would,
Yeah.
rely on that site supervisor permit to get you to that specific stipend level.
So, can I apply the K3 or no?
Yes, of course. Even if you don't have any units and you're in an eligible program, you're eligible for CARES 3.0. It's just
Okay.
because you have that site supervisor permit, you would be in that site supervisor level of the stipend.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
So we have a question here. Is a permit sufficient for someone who no longer has the transcript and the college they went to is now closed?
I would say the permit needs to be current. So it can't be an expired permit.
Okay, so follow-up question, do we accept permits only?
So we can accept them for CARES 3.0 to get to that stipend level, but we definitely would like to have transcripts to back up those permits on file.
So just to reiterate, your transcript, even though you can definitely upload a permit, your transcript is ultimately gonna put you in a category and depending on, and to determine what kind of stipend amount you will get.
Correct.
Great. Let's get Amy. Oh man, sorry, Amy. Amy, your Zoom needs to be updated in order to talk, unfortunately. Let's go with Megan.
Hi, sorry. So with everybody going in and uploading and updating all their information on their profiles, how important is it that their pay is correct?
Yeah, all information needs to be
All information needs to be accurate.
accurate. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, let's go with Aileen.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a questions. First of all, is because I'm a work part-time, then I'm considering to work full-time in October. Will I be able to upgrade, like will I be able to get more stipend if I work full-time?
Yeah, the stipend amounts are different for full-time versus part-time. You'll need to update that on update your hours on the registry, and your employer will have to verify that you are now full-time. So they'll have to verify those hours.
But it will be in October, but I cannot do everything by October the 1st.
Right, so you'll need to, so I wouldn't apply until that's done.
I understand, but you said that there's a lot of deadline like October the 1st, or there is an open deadline. When is the deadline for the
The absolute last day to apply is October 31st.
October 31st?
Yes,
And how
October
about
1st is the first day of the application period.
October 31st. How about the teacher permit? Because right now, like I'm also applying for teacher permit, but then as the other also said, it's not gonna be verified until like 2.5 months.
So make sure that whatever confirmation, like I said, when you apply for a teacher permit, you get a confirmation email. When you apply online, I encourage everyone to apply online if they can. You get a confirmation saying you've applied for this specific permit, upload that document and let us know that you've applied for that permit.
Yeah.
And
And the
you've
last,
uploaded the document to support that you've applied.
okay, just to support that I applied. And the last thing is about foreign transcript verification, because I have a ACE diploma in the foreign country.
Mhm.
So that I need to verify that. And it would take another time to do that. So if I verify, then I can upload that foreign transcript, right?
Yeah, that my understanding is that process takes a lot longer.
I can do rush. I can do rush.
Yeah, if you can, if it can be done within the month, then definitely then you'll be able to go through the verification process once those transcripts have been assessed. And
Is it has to be by October the 1st?
it has to be by the end of the month, which is October 31st. That's the close of the deadline.
Oh, okay. So foreign transcript verification doesn't have to be October 1st, right? It can be October 31st. Everything can be done before
Right.
October 31st.
But because there's so many things that you're waiting for to the deadline, I would make sure that you're reaching out to the CARES team to let them know.
Okay.
This is the
So
process
I
that you're
will-
going through, so that when you apply, we can make note on your registry profile that you're going through these processes for verification of all of these different things.
So I will send an email to
Yes.
the foreign registry. I think that
You'll send an
It's-
email to the CARES team. We're the ones that are up, that are processing the applications.
can you send me the email then? I think
Sure, it's in the chat. I believe it's in the chat.
in the chat.
I just put it in there again, so it should be at the bottom of your chat.
Oh, ECE stipend at SafeGov, and then send to them, and then let them know that I'm going through several waiting period process.
Right, but you should still apply, okay? So that we can
Yeah.
have something to note. So when you apply, reach out to us. This is for everyone. If you apply, there's information, please reach out so that we can note in your application that you're going through the verification process, but that doesn't mean to wait till the last minute. We know that some of these things take time, but definitely try to get as much as you can done as soon as possible.
Yeah, before October 31st.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're coming up to almost time, so we'll answer some questions, continue to answer some questions, but again, if you don't have any questions, you're free to leave, and we'll provide the recording via email and on the webpage. Don't want to hold anybody up if they're ready to go.
We have Rosie. Do you still have your question, Rosie?
So I have one more question. Is can I apply for the 30-day emergency substitute permit? Can I?
So we have been working with the California Commission on Credentialing, and they are in the process of developing the process of that process. So I think right now it's not available yet.
Oh, okay.
We've included it because we know that that's going to be an avenue to help us create equity and parity with the school district. However, right now, the last I checked was this last week, they hadn't had the process out. It's a pretty new credential.
Okay, how can I know that if they're available? So are you gonna send the email or?
You can check with the California Commission on credentialing. If we get information, we can certainly share that on our website, but You know,
Check.
I don't know when that's going to happen,
Thank
but
you.
I'll send the link to the credentialing
Okay,
commission and you
the
can
link, please.
check out. Yeah, it's not necessary. Your transcripts will be sufficient
There's a change
for
of
this.
permit.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Man, Amy, I'm so sorry, Amy. I hate to do this, but you have to write your question into the Q&A because I can't let you talk for some reason. So let's take some questions in the Q&A. So does the amount differ if you have a transcript and a permit? Yeah. Yes, but
It depends on what the transcript is and what the permit is, yeah.
so ultimately, yes. Let's go with the next question. How soon will, okay, how soon will we receive presentation slides? And thank you for the info.
Great, we're hoping to have the presentation slides go out by Thursday.
And then I just updated my employment status from teacher to head teacher. Do I need to end job from the previous?
Yeah, you're creating a new employment record. So you can have different employment records at the same program. As you're changing roles, you create a new employment record and then just make sure that your employer verifies that new record.
Okay, and we have another educator. Gayin, do you have your question?
Looks like you might be muted right now.
So it looks like Gayan put it in the Q&A. Thank you, Gayan. If my workers don't have any education, but they work full-time, can they be eligible for the stipend?
Yeah.
Yes, so it'll take them to that level of less than 12 ECE units, but they're still eligible.
Perfect. Susan, you still have your question? Oh, you
Almost.
unmuted and then muted.
Unmute. Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It got answered, I believe, because it was about ending your employment to update your status.
Great, yeah, just make sure that once you end your employment, because you're essentially, like I said, you're creating a new record. So if you went from like assistant to lead, you're creating a new record and your employer will have to verify that on their end. So just make sure whoever's verifying that information with your employer, that they have that verified for you. And they should get an email actually also that says this employee has updated information, please verify.
Okay, one question in the chat. I am a para working at SFUSD. The scale $, is the same amount no matter how many ECE units, degree, and permit you have, right? I hope did I do this question justice? Do you need me to read it again?
Yeah, here, I'm gonna stop sharing so I can.
Okay.
So I can better, sorry. Okay. They're a para at SFUSD. In the amount, so if they're a para at SFUSD, they would be considered green tiered, and then the amounts would be different if they're part-time or full-time. And it would be different if they were part-time or if they were full-time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's what the difference is.
So we don't have any more questions. I see Amy, but Amy, I'm so sorry. I can't let you, it won't allow me to let you talk. Like Zoom won't allow me to let you talk. So you have to write your question in the Q&A.
Yeah, they can, and you can also give us a call, leave us a voicemail or an email with your question as well.
That is all the questions.
Great.
We did it.
Well, thanks to everyone who's stuck around 63 of us. Here we are. The sun is set. Thank you so much for being here. We hope that this is informational. And you're walking away with resources and links and just a better understanding of CARES 3.0 and are ready to make sure that everything's verified, your registry profile is up to date, and you're ready to apply October 1st. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thanks for your time, everyone.